आदाब दोस्तों, मैं सुहेल फारूक हूँ और आप मुझे यूट्यूब पे देख रहे हैं। वीडियो शुरू करने से पहले घंटी का बटन दबा के मेरे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कर लीजिएगा ताकि आपको आने वाली तमाम वीडियोस के बारे में बर वक्त इत्तला मिल सके। आज की जो वीडियो है वो बाकी की वीडियोस जो मैं आमतौर पर बनाता हूँ उनसे मुख्तलिफ है। मेरी ज़्यादातर वीडियोस जो होती हैं वो या तो ट्रेनिंग मैटर्स से रिलेटेड होती हैं, फार्मास्यूटिकल, मार्केटिंग, सेल्स, मैनेजमेंट, एचआर, इंटरव्यूइंग, या फिर दूसरे सोशल इश्यूज जो पाकिस्तान के अंदर होते हैं, स्पेशली जो ह्यूमन राइट्स की वायलेशन के बारे में होते हैं, या फिर पाकिस्तान अगर किसी क्राइसिस में से गुजर रहा हो जो पाकिस्तान की इमेज के बारे में होते हैं। लेकिन आज की वीडियो जो है वो थोड़ी सी फर्क है। ये एक ऐसा एक शौक किसी दौर में मुझे रहा है प्रोफेशनल रेसलिंग देखने का। अपने वक्त के साथ साथ जो है वो कुछ तो जो रेसलिंग के लेजेंड्स थे प्रोफेशनल रेसलिंग के, वो भी चले गए और फिर उसके बाद वो शौक भी जो है वो आहिस्ता आहिस्ता खत्म होता चला गया। उसमें जो मेजर रीजन थी वो शायद मिक्स मार्शल आर्ट्स का आना और फिर यूएफसी प्रमोशन का इस तरह से ऑपरेबल होना कि उसने जो है वो सारी मार्केट जो है उसको स्वीप ऑफ कर दिया। और वर्ल्ड WCW और वर्ल्ड रेसलिंग फेडरेशन का आपस में जो मर्जर हुआ और वर्ल्ड रेसलिंग एंटरटेनमेंट भी बना, लेकिन उसके बावजूद भी फिर उसमें वो मजा नहीं रहा। लेकिन फिर इनमें कुछ ऐसे ऐसे लोग थे जिनको मैंने हमेशा फॉलो किया because of their style. Style is very important in professional wrestling, or promos are very important in professional wrestling. So it's a kind of a marketing gimmickry, and I always had liked this advertisement part of the professional wrestling. And then there were certain wrestlers who, despite of their bad game tactics, I liked them. And then there were others who I always envied and considered them the heroes of professional wrestling. So it was a mixed kind of thing. The 2-3 wrestlers that I always admired in WWE और उस वक्त जो WWF भी थी, उसमें जो सबसे पहला नाम जो पुराने लोगों में, बल्क होगन never inspired me, और Macho Man Randy Savage was the one I started liking in the beginning, and then came in the era of Ultimate Warrior. But then there was on the side there were people like Ric Flair, जो कि दूसरी तरफ पे WCW में भी एक बहुत बड़ा नाम बना के आया और फिर WWE में भी उसने आके बहुत बड़ा नाम पैदा किया। Medium-sized wrestler, but he had a reputation of being somebody who could upset any good and any strongest wrestler in the ring because of all the treachery that he had. And then another transition came in, and then a wrestler who was not part of the A team, but always was part of the B team, was the Bret the Hitman Hart, जिसने कि एक बहुत बड़ी ट्रांजिशन की और टैग टीम से फिर कन्वर्ट होने के बाद जो है वो सॉरी सिंगल कॉम्बैट रेसलिंग में सिंगल कॉम्पिटिशन्स के अंदर फिर उसने अपना नाम पैदा किया. And he was the first one to beat, not the first one, I mean like for the first title, when he became the champion, he beat Ric Flair. तो ब्रेट द हिटमैन हार्ट की बहुत से लोगों के साथ जो थी वो एक राइवलरी चलती रही जिसमें शॉन माइकल्स भी था, और फिर अभी शॉन माइकल और ब्रेट हार्ट ने इकट्ठे इंटरव्यूज भी दिए और मॉन्ट्रियल जो स्क्रू जॉब था उसके बारे में बात की, and they buried the hatchet. But then Ric Flair and Bret the Hitman Hart, they never were friends. They always talked bad about each other, and well, like even people know that professional wrestling is a drama and it's a scripted thing. But then even नूरा कुश्ती के अंदर भी जो था वो rivalries मौजूद रहती हैं, and people want to become number one, and then acknowledging and recognizing the other is a big thing. Some of them they acknowledge and recognize their friends, others don't. But then some news came to me, and it surprised me. It was a pleasant surprise because I always had wanted to know that how would this work. And when I saw this news, it was a very pleasant surprise for me. Ric Flair ने एक ट्वीट किया कि we called each other everything in the world for 30 years. Now we just call each other friends for life. So it's a beautiful picture. Two great wrestlers of their time. One, a big, treacherous guy in the ring. I mean, like, I believe that Ric Flair has a big heart and he was a great guy, but that was a role that he was given, and he actually acted so well upon that role. But if somebody wants to give Grammys or Oscars to professional wrestlers, I think Ric Flair is the number one candidate to win one. Bret Hart, on the other hand, had his own charisma. He was way too handsome. He was too good looking. And of course, Gorilla Monsoon जैसे commentators ने भी उसको फिर जो है वो convert किया इस चीज के अंदर कि he became the excellence of execution, and he ruled for quite some time as a good wrestler until the time of Shawn Michaels came in. और फिर एक स्टार के जाने के बाद दूसरा स्टार जो है वो बनता है. रेसलिंग के अंदर या मार्केटिंग के अंदर ये बहुत बड़ी मार्केटिंग है जो यूएफसी भी करती है और जो डब्ल्यूडब्ल्यूई भी करती है. अभी यूएफसी की मार्केटिंग डब्ल्यूडब्ल्यूई की मार्केटिंग से बेहतर है, बट यूएफसी फाइटर्स आर द रियल फाइटर्स. व्हाई? बिकॉज़ दैट इज मिक्स्ड मार्शल आर्ट्स एंड इट इज entirely different ball game than professional wrestling. But when one star goes, the other star takes its place. So how marketing वालों को, जो मेरे दोस्त हैं, उनके लिए इसके अंदर एक मैसेज है कि how when one star goes and the other star is in the making, तो वो कहाँ पे बनते हैं स्टार? वो स्टार्स प्रोमोज में बनाए जाते हैं, वो स्टार्स इंटरव्यूज में बनाए जाते हैं, और वो स्टार जो है वो प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंसेस में बनाए जाते हैं. तो जब एक जाने वाला होता है स्टार, तो दूसरा स्टार को लाया जाता है, फिर प्रोमोज बनाई जाती हैं, फिर उसके अंदर जो है वो स्पिरिट डाली जाती है, फिर उसके अंदर उसको इग्नाइट किया जाता है, फिर इंटरव्यूज किए जाते हैं, और फिर इन्हीं इंटरव्यूज के अंदर जो है एक नया स्टार जो है उभर के आता है. अब आप अगर हिस्टोरिकली देख लें तो जो स्टार्स मैंने बनते देखे, they were not very good wrestlers, but they became very good stars. For example, Rock, Dwayne Johnson को आप देखें, Dwayne Johnson started calling himself the people's champion, but he was never a good wrestler. He was simply a bodybuilder, and he was trying to catch his father's legacy, Rocky Johnson. लेकिन उसके इंटरव्यूज और उसकी एक्टिंग, because he was an actor, so he became the most expensive actor in American history for a certain movie. So if you look at it in the marketing perspective, we see that how a star becomes in the making. It is very simple. एक प्रोमो बनाई जाती है, फिर उसको प्रमोट किया जाता है, फिर एक और प्रोमो बनाई जाती है. जैसे हम मार्केटिंग में, फार्मास्यूटिकल मार्केटिंग में, हम एक कैंपेन बनाते हैं, लिटरेचर डिजाइन करते हैं, डिटेल एड बनाते हैं, गिफ्ट्स करते हैं, फिर उसकी एग्जीक्यूशन करते हैं, फिर उसके ऊपर फिल्म शोज करते हैं, फिर उसके ऊपर पार्टिसिपेंट्स को बुलाया जाता है, फिर वहां पे एक प्रेजेंटेशन दी जाती है. सो इट्स ऑल अबाउट प्रेजेंटिंग द डेटा, it's all about presenting, it's all about the promos, and of course then how you perform in the ring is also very important. Apart from that, the relationship between Ric Flair and Bret the Hitman Hart, it had never been very good, and they always hated each other, just like the way Macho Man Randy Savage and relation between Hulk Hogan was always a roller coaster, and at some time Randy also challenged Hulk Hogan to have a real fight, and I believe that Randy could have actually beaten Hulk Hogan in the real fight, but it never happened. And but Randy was a real good wrestler. The lesson to learn from these two legends of professional wrestling is that there is a term introduced by Simon Sinek. Instead of calling people the competitors, he started calling them the worthy rivals. And I like that word, that phrase, worthy rival. It's amazing that you have a competition, you really don't like that person, or and then you envy that person, and you or that organization, and you try to follow their footsteps, or you try to learn from them how to operate in the market and how to excel yourself and come up to a certain level where you could compete them, or you could displace their market share or their placing, and grab more market, even when such strong players are already operating in the market. So I think that Bret could have not been a big star if he didn't have wrestlers like Ric Flair and Shawn Michaels on his credit. And Ric Flair was already a very big star when Bret started to earn name and became famous. So I think credit goes to Ric Flair for making the Hitman Hart a big star. But the good thing is, and the lesson to learn for our politicians and for the ordinary people like our children and the people around us and our friends and even the family members, like the life is not all about hating each other forever. It is about hating each other for a season and or maybe for a reason, and then just forget about it. And then what you learn out of that hatred or out of that feeling of rivalry and competitiveness, and then when you outgrow out of it, you could recognize and acknowledge the very fact that the person that you once hated, a person that once you really didn't like, had paid his role. And actually that hatred that you have towards somebody or the competitiveness that you have about someone actually helps you to grow. So you, in deeply, unconsciously or consciously, we like that person so much that we start hating that person, or we like that company so much that we hate it, and at the same time we want to be like it. So I think that we should always give the credit to our competitors for giving us such a feeling of staying motivated and keep doing things which we really wanted to do and achieve in our lives. So and it's also about this very thing between Ric Flair and Bret Hart is it's about forgetting about the past and bearing the hatchet and moving ahead in the life with a positive attitude. Okay, now we had a big name when we were young and we were very competitive, but see these two people when they work together, they could even do bigger things. Now, and this is the lesson for our children. This is the lesson for our friends. This is the lesson for the family members who don't like to be like each other, like brother and sister. One is growing and the other is not growing, and one hates the other. It's all about this, that it's that life is about transition, life is about changing, and life is about accepting and acknowledging the fact that because of someone, I am what I am today. So this is my message to all those people who know these two people. And if you don't know them because you are from the generation Z or you are millennial, better go back to see who Ric Flair was and who Bret the Hitman Hart was and how deeply they hated each other, but now they are friends for life. So इस पे मैं जो है वो अपनी वीडियो जो है वो खत्म करता हूँ पॉजिटिव मैसेज के साथ. We should always think good when the time is gone. When enough water flows under the bridges, it's about time. We forget about things and we move forward in life and acknowledge the other person that we never liked, or the one offered us the opportunity because of that competitiveness or hatred to become a successful person in today. Thank you very much and good night.